You know what employers want? Now, let's talk about, and we talked about finishing college strong, now let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about how you make this look on your resume. This is a sample of what my college resume looked like, I think. I don't remember. It was 20 some odd years ago. But it looked something like this. I do remember that. Now, that's not a bad looking resume. But here's the thing you have to think about. The resume game can be tricky. Do you know how many seconds, the average amount of seconds a recruiter looks at a resume?
3.
Well, that's pretty tight, not that bad, 6. But I probably average around 4 or 5 seconds per resume. Because remember those numbers I gave you, right? The 600 resumes, get them down to 150, try to get your last 30. So yeah, 4 to 5 seconds is what I'll do. 6.2 seconds is what the Ladders found out in a survey that they did. And they found out that recruiters have a specific pattern. So when it comes down to the reading pattern, they noted that recruiters tend to kind of start right here. If you notice, there's a lot of content, and then we kind of go down this way. Now, the reason we're going down this way is because we want to take a look at the experience that people had, and then we're going to read, and then we want to read from there. And then this pattern, if you notice, the resume format is a little different, so your eyes are drawn there a little bit, and then it's drawn right here, and then you kind of go down here because you have some information down there. So that is actually pretty accurate. That's pretty much how I read a lot of resumes, and it does depend on the formatting of the resume. But here's the thing I love about the resume. The resume is the foundation of building a strong personal brand for your career, because this is where you get to express it. This is where you get to put it on paper. 9 times out of 10, I'm not at a conference talking to Caitlin. I'm actually going to be seeing your resume somewhere online. And so that's why being able to do something to make your resume stand out is critical. So when it comes down to what you want to do to make that resume stand out, this resume on the right, this is what my resume would have looked like if I could have gone back and redone it. What do you think? What do you notice as a difference right away?
You can see what's important, like your bolded subsections. You use bullets.
Yeah.
And it's easier to read.
Yeah, it's easier on the eyes. But here's the one thing, and you would not believe this, but I've actually run across resumes where people did not have a phone number. It's like, I've run across resumes, no phone number, no email address. And so, deliberately, move the phone number, email address up there, because that is where people's eyes are drawn a lot of times, most of the time. And of course, I'm using my name up there to draw people. But let's break this thing down, because basically, when we take a look at resumes, I like to talk about resumes in thirds. So let's look at the first third of the page. The first third of the page when it comes to a resume, your objective statement. Now, there's a big debate out there about whether or not you even need an objective statement. Here's my answer to it. You don't need one. However, if you have a good one, people are going to notice. That's the big difference. So let's look at this one. If you look at this one, mine, the top, it did say something like hardworking student, looking to utilize my talents, energy, and education to serve as a key contributor to a company or organization. I see a lot of objective statements like this all the time. It's really not a bad one, but it's definitely not very good. The problem with it, it doesn't tell me anything, right? Hardworking student, I hope so. Looking to utilize talents, I hope so. Energy and education to serve as a key contributor to a company or organization. Again, I hope so. So I call this a objective statement. But if I could go back and redo my objective statement from my senior year of college, this is what it would have looked like. Radio promotions assistant. Well, I wanted to be in communications. I wanted to be in broadcasting. 3 important words. Graduating senior. I wanted somebody to call me and say, hey, when you graduate, we're ready for you. Award-winning student leader. I won awards on campus. I was a student leader on campus, and leader is a word you definitely want to use. Interested in news and entertainment broadcasting opportunities. I'm telling them what I want to do. And then open to relocation, probably the biggest one, right? Letting people know that I'm not shy about getting out of Dodge. So in the second objective statement, what I had working in my favor was I told people who I am, what I do, what I want. That's the biggest thing. And I took the opportunity to brand myself by saying that I'm an award-winning student leader. That was probably the biggest branding point.